Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to what's been unfolding in the AFC North this season, you know that this division has been anything but predictable. With just one team boasting a winning record, the door isn't fully closed on the Browns, even with that 1-3 start. In fact, there's a real sense around Cleveland that this season might still have a lot to offer, especially if some key pieces fall into place. And one of those pieces is the addition of Cam Robinson, a move that might seem small on paper, but could hold big implications for the Browns' offensive line and their overall chances of turning things around. Let's take a step back and analyze why this trade is so interesting and what it signals about Cleveland's mindset right now. The Browns, despite their rocky start, clearly believe they have a shot to compete, and that's evident in their willingness to make calculated moves. The trade for Cam Robinson, which happened right after that tough loss to the Detroit Lions, shows a team that's not giving up. They're looking for solutions, and they're willing to bring in reinforcements to shore up their offensive line, which has been a point of concern for much of the season. What's particularly noteworthy about this trade is the contract situation. Robinson was signed to a one-year, $12 million deal by the Houston Texans this past offseason. Now, at first glance, that might seem like a significant investment, but when you dig into the details, it's actually quite manageable for Cleveland. The reason is that most of that contract has already been paid out, which means the Browns aren't on the hook for the full amount this season. In fact, according to Spotrac, Cleveland will only pay around $3 million for Robinson this year, a figure that fits comfortably into their salary cap plans. And here's where it gets interesting. Cleveland entered the season with over $15 million in available salary cap space, placing them in the top 10 in the league for cap flexibility. That's a significant advantage because it means they can make strategic moves like this without sacrificing their planning for next year. They're not just throwing money around, they're being smart, strategic about how they allocate their cap space. Spending around $3 million on a player like Robinson, who they hope will stabilize the left tackle position, makes sense when you consider their broader roster-building strategy. The goal with Robinson is clear. They want to solidify that left tackle spot, which has been somewhat unstable. Jack Conklin's recent injury struggles have left that position vulnerable, and Cleveland recognizes that having a reliable presence on the blind side is crucial for Deshaun Watson's protection and for the overall offensive productivity. If Robinson can step in and perform at a high level, it could be a game-changer for Cleveland's offensive line, which has struggled at times to give Watson the time and space he needs to operate efficiently. Now, it's worth mentioning that Robinson's arrival isn't just about plugging a gap. It's about reinforcing the entire offensive front. The Browns have been trying to find consistency up front all season long, and with the trade, they're sending a message. They're serious about competing now. They're not just hoping for Conklin to come back healthy, they're actively working to create a more stable environment for their quarterback and their running game. And let's not forget the broader context. The AFC North, as I mentioned earlier, is wide open right now. The Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, and Pittsburgh Steelers all are trying to find their footing. The Ravens, for example, have been impressive in some games but inconsistent in others. The Bengals are still trying to find their rhythm after a challenging start, and the Steelers are looking for offensive consistency. Cleveland, despite their 1-3 record, has the talent and the coaching to turn things around. The addition of Robinson could be a vital piece in that puzzle, helping them shore up their offensive line and potentially leapfrog some of their division rivals. And for the Browns fans, what's exciting about this move is the sense that the team is still very much in the fight. They're not throwing in the towel or waiting for next season. They're making bold moves to try and maximize what they have right now. The fact that they were willing to spend a relatively modest amount of cap space on Robinson shows a willingness to be aggressive and strategic. It's a sign that Cleveland's front office is confident that with the right adjustments, this team can turn their season around and make a serious push for the playoffs. Looking ahead, Robinson's impact will depend heavily on how quickly he can integrate into the team and adapt to Cleveland's offensive schemes. The Browns' coaching staff has been emphasizing the importance of continuity and chemistry on the line, so bringing in a player like Robinson at this stage of the season is a calculated risk. But given his experience and the fact that most of his contract has already been paid, it's a low-risk, high-reward scenario for Cleveland. They're betting on Robinson to bring stability and leadership to that left tackle position, which has been somewhat of a revolving door this season. It's also worth noting how this move aligns with Cleveland's overall strategy. The Browns have been cautious with their salary cap, especially since the Deshaun Watson trade and his massive contract. Every dollar spent is scrutinized, and they've shown a willingness to be flexible when it comes to filling key needs. This move for Robinson exemplifies that approach, spending a small portion of their cap space for a potential big impact on their offensive line and ultimately their season. And if Robinson can perform at even a fraction of his potential, it could be enough to turn the tide for Cleveland. The Browns have a talented roster, especially offensively, with Watson leading the charge. The offensive line stability is crucial for Watson's success, and the addition of Robinson might be the spark they need to unlock more of that offensive potential. And let's be honest, the Browns have been in a bit of a roller coaster this season, but the talent is there, and this move signals their belief that they can still contend, that they're still in the fight. Now, fans, I know many of you are thinking about the bigger picture. The AFC North is a tough division, no doubt about it, but Cleveland's willingness to make this move shows they're not giving up. They're not waiting for next year to rebuild or retool, they're trying to do it now. The season isn't over until it's over, and with players like Robinson stepping in, the Browns could very well be on the brink of a resurgence. This is what makes following this team so exciting right now. They're unpredictable, resilient, and determined to prove that they belong among the top contenders in the AFC. So, as we watch how Robinson fits into the offensive line and how the Browns continue to adapt and fight through their schedule, one thing remains clear. Cleveland is still in the game, and they're making moves to stay competitive. The season is far from done, and the potential for a late-season surge is very real. The team's leadership and coaching staff are clearly still pushing for greatness, and Browns fans should feel confident that their team is doing everything possible to turn this around. In conclusion, this trade for Cam Robinson might seem like a small piece in a larger puzzle, but sometimes it's those small pieces that make all the difference. The Browns are showing their commitment to winning, investing wisely in a player they believe can stabilize their offensive line and help them compete at a higher level. The upcoming weeks will be crucial to see how quickly Robinson can gel with the team and whether this move sparks a turnaround. But one thing is certain, Cleveland isn't backing down, and with the AFC North up for grabs, every game counts even more now. Keep an eye on this team, Browns fans, because the story of this season is still being written, and it could be one of the most exciting chapters yet. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this move? Do you think Robinson will be the piece that finally stabilizes the offensive line and helps Cleveland make a deep playoff run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Browns. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. This team has proven time and again that they're resilient, bold, and always fighting for that elusive Super Bowl. The season's not over yet, and the Browns could surprise us all. Thanks for being with me today, and as always, let's keep rooting for our Browns to rise above, to fight, and to reach that ultimate goal. The journey continues, and it's shaping up to be one of the most intriguing seasons in recent memory. Stay loyal, stay passionate, and let's see where this story goes next.